What's up guys, Mr. here back in the video. Today's video is what if Revenge of the Island Rotor teams were like in Revenge of the Island. So this will be a two-part. The first will be, this part will be in the order they arrived in. The second part's going to be where the teams were picked. So this video was by Fallshello. Thank you for your suggestion. Let's begin. So DJ, Lashana, Harold, Lindsay, Bridget, Alejandro, Tyler, Noah, Owen, Sierra, Gwen, Heather, Courtney, Cody, and Izzy. So this is the order of the arrival. Let's begin. Episode 2, Alejandro gets one belt from the goat. And Team Chris, they just carry the goat, and Zeke loses the stick, so he gets voted off. Episode 3, the Japan episode, Alejandro takes charge of the commercial. And I think Heather will go on Owen and Izzy, which annoys Harold a bit, but he gets over it. Cody would do his commercial, but he has full cooperation from the rest of the team. For Team Victory, they would do their commercial, but it wouldn't be nearly as good. Courtney's practice attitude and all that. And I think here, Courtney, Gwen, and Heather wouldn't lead their teams. That's the big reason that they left in the original was because they were arguing with each other because they had different ideas and they couldn't decide who was the leader. So I don't think that would happen here. So I think Team Victory would lose the challenge and everyone votes for DJ. And Alejandro wouldn't get Harold to quit this time because they're teammates. Episode 4 is the Yukon. So who's pulling? Izzy, Lashana, Tyler. Alejandro still flirts with Bridget, so he gets her stuck to a pole. So Bridget is eliminated. Episode 5, Broadway. So Heather does the character swap on Team Chris, so Team Amber win the helmets. So they win the meat grinder. But Alejandro would not let, I feel like he would not let Heather throw the meat grinder out. And because Heather's on the bottom of her team, she's working with Alejandro, I think she would agree to not throw it out. So, but it's an elimination. Episode 6, Aftermath. Episode 7, Slap Slap Revolution. So Alejandro, Team Amazon win with the meat grinder. I'm going to say Team Chris comes second place and Team Victory comes last. Because the last one's down the hill, they're still 2 people trying the challenge. Not a thing I agree with in the original, but it's faithful. So I think Sierra and Courtney, Lashana, Noah, and Cody, Alejandro, Izzy, and Heather. So Alejandro can't sway Lashana to seize the day because Harold's here. I think Harold's going to actually make a lot of a difference. So I think Team Crystal are the weakest people though. And I think Courtney and Sierra, once Cody gets hit, her rage powers, she could beat Lashana. And then Alejandro and Izzy are definitely winning. So I think Team Crystal lose the challenge. And they get rid of Noah. Pretty unfortunately for Noah. Episode 8, Team's on left or right, Lindsay versus Tyler at this point. And Team Chris go right. And Alejandro would follow Team Victory because I think that's something he would do. But it's an elimination. Episode 9, Can I'm Falling in Love You. So Sierra's not upset with Cody at this point, so she's doing the challenge. So Courtney and Sierra decided to work together to get rid of Lindsay or Tyler. And I think Lashana, Cody, and Gwen would do alright here. Alejandro, Team Amazon definitely won the challenge. Because they have a lot of people. Now Lindsay by herself almost won the challenge. And would have won if DJ didn't destroy her team statue. So I think unfortunately for Team Chris, they're losing the challenge. And I think Gwen and Cody would vote for Lashana because they're close friends and they're very close, and I think Gwen would want to keep Cody around because if it's a tiebreaker, she could definitely beat him easier than Lashana. And Cody's not going to vote for Lashana. I know Gwen and Lashana are close friends, but Lashana did vote her off in action, so I feel like this would be like a bit of a payback situation where Lashana got eliminated because of Gwen. And I think Alan would just persuade them because he's on the other team. It'd be a weird strategy if you went to them, but I feel like he could just talk to the other team. Episode 10, New Kids on the Block. So Gwen and Courtney stop because they think see Duncan. Team Amazon win the challenge. It's an elimination. Episode 11, Jamaica. So Izzy was so dramatic the plane while it's crashing. So that's number 1. And then they're forced to lose again because Gwen and Courtney's in the infirmary. Alejandro, being a smart player, realises that Cody's in the by himself. And Gwen's in the infirmary because Alejandro wouldn't know at this point if Gwen was able to play the game. So this is him ending Team Chris. So Alan just plans to punch the track similar how he does DJ originally, by punching the trap leg on before him and getting him to lose. So in the Cody and Gwen tiebreaker, I'm pretty sure Cody's leaving that tie. So Gwen's the last member of Team Chris. Episode 13, Duncan comes back. So we have Duncan. Would Zeke come back though? Owen was the reason that he got caught, so I think that must say he probably doesn't come back. So here's the thing though. Courtney and Gwen find Duncan, and Owen finds Jack the Ripper. So what I feel like would happen is Gwen and Courtney would both win the challenge because they found Duncan, right? And Duncan would be... I feel like Courtney would go off, Sierra gets caught, Lindsay and Ty get caught together. So Courtney just by herself. So I think what would happen is Courtney would find Duncan and Gwen would have Jack the Ripper. And this would be a pretty unfair advantage. So I feel like Duncan would be second prize. And although Owen finds Jack the Ripper, they just come back with nothing. So I think pretty unfairly how it goes. You can get annoyed with that in the comments and say that Gwen and Courtney wouldn't work together, but keep in mind that they would both be searching for Duncan. So I just thought it would be the first way around the episode. That challenge was just rigged by nature because they found a loophole with Duncan, and Owen likes Alejandro, so I think they'd want to keep each other around. So there you go. Episode 14, the kiss still happens. Tyler witnesses. So Gwen goes. And I think Lindsay and Owen. Obviously Gwen wins. Now Alejandro can't overhear the song because Gwen and Duncan are on the same team. The fighting challenge will be Courtney, Gwen, and Heather. Courtney, Duncan, Heather. I think Courtney wins the challenge. The hurdles, it's Tyler, Gwen, and Alejandro. Alejandro has to show off still because Alejandro's already full of himself. So even though it's not heavy, he's racing, I still think he'd be able to show off. So you go ultimately crashing into the hurdles. Goes in the tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker will be Heather, Duncan, and Courtney. Right. So I think what would happen is Tyler would do the tiebreaker, Duncan, Heather. So I think Tyler would lose the team victory, Duncan would win it, I think Heather. So Sierra and Courtney would vote for Lindsay, because she'd be easy to beat in a tiebreaker. And Lindsay and Tyler vote for Sierra. And I think Lindsay goes here. Now something to keep in mind is why I'm in episode 14. Because if you watch the episode very carefully, it's now made clear by Chris whether or not this was a non-elimination if Duncan didn't lose. Like, if Tyler was voted off, for example, or Owen. I mean, if Owen was voted off, for example, episode 14, I don't think Chris would have stopped it. The fun's just begun. But because it was Duncan, he stopped it. Lindsay has no relevance to the drama that's going on, and no one really knows yet, because obviously the song was never played in this episode. So episode 15, the X-Files. So Tyler goes off by himself, Courtney and Sierra, they're off by themselves, Alejandro goes off by himself, and Duncan. And Alejandro finds Tyler in this state about the alien. And because he knows Tyler's very nervous around Duncan, he knows there's something suspicious. So Alejandro gets the alien off Tyler and makes a deal with him saying, if you give me this alien, you owe me a favour later on. It's like, this is me doing you a favour down the line at some point, get the alien off. So Tyler accepts, so he gets the alien off, and Duncan finds an alien. And Alejandro tells Heather finds that portal that she was originally at with Owen. He gets captured in 51. So Tyler gets sent flying, control power, which releases Owen, and Tyler goes off by himself. He goes off with the alien, with Duncan. And Alejandro tells Heather and Owen, we need to carry this portal. We need to carry the portal at this point because that's going to be quite threatening. So we need to carry this portal. So what would happen is Alejandro says to Tyler, time to pay back that favour. Please tell Courtney what you know about Duncan and Gwen. So Courtney stops in fury. Duncan tries to referee the situation and defend Gwen. And Alejandro gets the portal with Heather and Owen across. And Team Amazon successfully win the challenge. Tyler screws up, so Team Chris win. And Sierra and Courtney. Tyler votes for Courtney. Sierra would probably vote for Courtney. But in episode 14, it was on elimination reversion because it was Duncan. I think because the news just broke episode 15, this episode gets made non-elimination now because I can't get rid of Gwen and Courtney. Can't get rid of Courtney because the fun's just begun. And the fun's just getting started. So this episode gets made a non-elimination. Episode 16, Pitney Hanging Dork. So, I think at this point, Owen takes turn as emu. Courtney's not throwing the challenge. Duncan wouldn't throw the thing about Cody. So I think because Owen takes turn as emu and all that, and Courtney's not trying to throw, I think there's a good chance Team Victory and Team Chris will win the challenge. And I think even though Heather wants to get rid of Alejandro, I think she would agree to get rid of Owen because he cost him the challenge. Episode 17, Sweet and Sour, non-elimination. Blaney joins. Merge Day. This is the merge cast. So the only difference in this merge is we have Gwen and Tyler instead of Owen and Cody. So bye-bye Team Victory. Bye-bye Team Chris. Bye-bye Team Outlaw. So the pairs, Duncan and Courtney. Blaney and Tyler. Sierra and Gwen, which leaves Alejandro and Heather. So I feel like what would happen, I kind of like Tyler and Gwen. So it's Tyler and Gwen, Blaney and Sierra, Duncan and Courtney, because the challenge is just random. So Alejandro still throws the challenge. Blaney and Sierra won't do that well. Tyler messes up, so Duncan and Courtney still win immunity. And Blaney wouldn't reveal Owen's a fan favourite at this point, so Alejandro has Tyler's vote. And he's kind of working with Duncan. So I feel like what would happen is because these two are immune, Courtney gets rid of votes for Gwen, Sierra votes for Gwen, Blaney, Alejandro, Heather votes for Courtney, Cam votes for Courtney, so she votes for Sierra. So she votes for Gwen. I think Duncan, he votes for Heather, so these two vote for Heather. Alejandro likes Heather, so I think he also votes for Heather. There's 3 on Heather. Tyler would be the swing vote between Heather and Gwen. I think he votes for Heather, so I think 4 for Heather, 4 for Gwen, and they have to face a tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker for Gwen and Heather would be feeding the leaves to the koalas, right? So I think Heather wins because Gwen's allergy. I don't think Chris could pull off another non-elimination because it'd be unfair to keep doing that. So I think Gwen has to go here. Episode 20 is Chinese fake out, so Courtney obviously wouldn't pass the eating portion. Alejandro and Heather are caught cheating, blaming you cheating. Sierra still wins me because I don't think Tyler can match their level of eating. So I think Alejandro has caught Tyler's ability. So Courtney votes for Duncan. So I think what would happen is Tyler votes for Duncan. So I think Sierra's immune, so I think these 3 vote for Blaney. And these 4 vote for Courtney. So I think Blaney and Courtney still get sent home. Episode 21 is African Night Safari. So Duncan and Alejandro decide to work together because they realise at this point that if they keep carrying on, Sierra's going to be a really massive threat and they can't have her in the final 5. So what would happen is that Alejandro would still trip Duncan, so he would still win immunity, and he gets rid of Duncan. Episode 22, African Raf Fui. So Heather still wins the challenge. They vote Sierra non-elimination. Episode 23, African Lion Safari. So Alejandro's plans would get her by Heather, and he still loses. Tyler goes by the T, so I think Tyler would win immunity because they have super strong fingers. Sierra wouldn't be distracted by Cody the entire time, but I don't think she would win this challenge. So Alejandro has Tyler, and I think Sierra and Heather would vote for Alejandro, and Alejandro and Tyler vote for Sierra. Now Alejandro and Sierra would have to face a tiebreak here, because Sierra wouldn't blow up the plane because Cody's not around, and it's not his birthday, unless she does it for Tyler, which I think is very unlikely. And I think here, in the tiebreaker, Sierra's losing that tiebreaker because I don't think she would beat Alejandro in a tiebreaker. Like, I think she's determined, but I don't think she's determined as Alejandro is. Episode 24, Hawaii style. So Alejandro would feel betrayed by Heather, so he's so annoyed by her at this point. It's a race to the end. I think Tyler would just kind of dumb luck his way to the end. And between Alejandro and Heather, I think Heather goes. Episode 24 is actually knowledge, so Heather goes. So Alejandro and Tyler are the finalists. How cool is that? So Alejandro picks Heather and Courtney. Tyler picks Lindsay. And Harold, because Harold and him got on Japan, and he was determined in the original. There's the ending, you get winning endings. So my winner would be Tyler, but if you prefer Alejandro as an option. Thank you guys for watching. This is the emotion I think the season would have gone if the teams were in the order that they arrived in. So it actually does change quite a bit of the timeline. And the second part of the video will be, the next part will be on if they pick the teams. Yeah, peace, farewell.